had this kind of gut feeling that self-help had a darker side that people weren't talking about.
I called myself fat because I was fat, and people don't want to do that.
You know what lazy people are? They're just forgotten. Everybody has problems.
Do you know how many people on Earth have it way worse than you? Billions.
Hi, I'm Eva. I'm an LIS BAS graduate, and my Capstone research project was investigating self-optimization ideology as embodied in the self-help industry and what that might be doing to both individuals and wider society. So I did a mixed methods interdisciplinary research project. So I brought together different qual and quant methods. I created an ethnography, so it's basically an archive. I spent a couple of months really immersed in the digital world of self-help. Through my research, I identified 4 characteristics of self-improvement. So the first one is shame and anxiety.
It's not okay for you to be a weak loser. It's not okay.
A lot of the figureheads of the movement, so people like Jordan Peterson or Diary of a CEO, heavily feature this kind of like in the thumbnails of their videos. It'll be titles that really make people worried and like consider something that they're not doing right, or those kind of impassioned speeches at the cameras where you get the like, you're not doing enough and your life's going wrong because of you.
What good are you? Get yourself together for Christ's sake so that when your father dies, you're not whining away in a corner and you can help plan the funeral and you can stand up solidly so that people can rely on you. That's better. Don't be a damn victim. Of course you're a victim. Jesus, obviously.
Okay, so the effect I think that this has on the individual consuming it all day long is it puts them in a headspace of like, I'm not good enough, I'm not trying hard enough. The relationship created by self-improvement ideology is one between work ethic and morality. So it draws on these bigger themes of like the Protestant work ethic to basically say that if you work hard and you're a hustler, you are a better person that is more valuable to society and more deserving of success. If you have a worse work ethic, if you're perceived to be lazy, you are a worse person, you deserve less, you are less valuable to society, and you are less likely to have a good life.
Beyonce has the same 24 hours in a day that we do. And I just think like it's literally, you're given one life and it's down to you what you do with it.
All of this has this overwhelming effect of placing the burden of guilt at the individual's door and making the individual feel ashamed and that they are to blame for the conditions of their life.
One way to think about it is just kind of basic math. Like if you just look at the numbers, if you were able to improve by 1% each day for an entire year, and those gains compound, you would end up 37 times better at the end of the year. And if you were to get 1% worse, you would whittle yourself almost all the way down to 0.
You're not putting in the work. You have to do more. You gotta stop telling yourself that you're doing enough.
So the second characteristic is the idea of this being a continuous process. You never reach a state of completion where you have self-optimized, you are now free to go. Basically, this idea of the perfect you is dangled in front of you on a string that's always held a bit out of reach. This showed up in my research really clearly in the archival process. It was always this word work, so whether it shows up on like working on myself, for myself, by myself, or addicted to bettering myself, or just a girl boss building her empire, we've now created a cultural standard whereby you not only need to constantly work on yourself because you're not enough, you also need to be perceived to be constantly working on yourself.
It's self-care day.
PP, drink matcha.
I'm gonna do some hair oiling. Caviar spread. Eye mask thing.
So characteristic 3 is about personal resource allocation. All we have in life is our time, money, and energy really on a basic level. And the sneaky thing about self-help is that it can quickly monopolize them all, and therefore your life. It tells you that you should be your focus, that your resources should be directed towards the self and building and maintaining the self, almost as a brand. When we combine that with the never-ending dimension, we begin to see that your life could become your work on the self. It can make you feel quite existential of like, so what are we doing this for? My existence is just to endlessly make myself better in the pursuit of a destination I will never reach.
All the friends that I have do over $300, $400 million a year, minimum. Yeah. Like we're at 250. The 5 people I compare myself to are way richer than me. And every day I am so deprived of money. I can barely buy the companies that I want to buy because they're 100, 250, and I'm like, fuck. And I could buy like 1 a year. Right. My deprivation for money is huge.
you've got your shame about not doing enough, and then you believe that you must work on yourself all the time, and then that consumes your resources. And then we end up at this point where we are these isolated individual units. And so our fourth characteristic is how isolationist this ideology is.
You have to stop caring about what other people think of you. I've had to work and push through a lot of things that other people disagreed with. I had to lose friends along the way. People who didn't agree or approve of my lifestyle. Family as well. You know you need to separate from the pack in order to create the new pack that you want to be a part of.
Do not hang around with low-life, dumb people, literally. Because they are gonna always bring you down to their level. If you hang around losers constantly, you'll be a loser.
Michel Foucault predicted this, where he said that humans were becoming Homo economicus, so basically a self-contained, free-acting individual, and you are in competition with all the other individual people in society, and you become radically abstracted from the community around you into just these isolated units. Where do we actually end up? At its most kind of rampant and its most extreme point, this ideology could really be pushing us towards social trends which a lot of people are concerned about and talk about, the declining community and the spiritual crisis and the highest levels of loneliness reported. A useful model to help us unpack this a bit is Chater and Lowenstein's I-frame and S-frame model. So they talk about how some social issues require I-frame responses, so that's on the level of the individual. You can tackle that on your own, and some require S-frame responses, so that's system responses. And when we look at self-help, we understand that there are instances where the I-frame is true. Like, you need to unpack something and work it through individually. Nobody can go to the gym on your behalf.
18!
Nobody can get up earlier if that's what you want to do. A lot of self-help, that's completely fine. The problem is when self-help, which is an I-frame response, is prescribed across the board in places where sometimes we need S-frame responses.
When I was trying to buy my first home, I wasn't buying smashed avocados for $19 and 4 coffees at $4 each.
So you reckon that's real? That people actually, young people, actually end up just spending their money and then whinge about the fact they can't get into the property market?
Oh, there's no question it's real. I think until the generation realises that the people that own homes today worked very, very hard for it, saved every dollar, did everything they could to get up the property ladder. You've got to get your foot in the door and you've got to slowly get up the ladder.
I think all good things worth saving are worth critiquing, and so this research didn't come from a place of decrying like self-help as a movement. Like, we all need it, we all do it to a degree. I believe there's a healthy level of self-actualization that humans should and do go through, but I'm just worried about an ideology which says you can just work on the self. I think that we need to reframe the conversation in that a healthy community is made up of healthy individuals, and healthy individuals are made in a healthy community, and they're not in competition. And a lot of the self-help rhetoric that we see positions them in competition. It's like, well, you don't have time to think about other people. It's you lock in on you or nothing, and I don't think that needs to be the case. I think that they could work together.